Black male spirituality, back again with another message. This time, it's my inaugural live stream show, and for this first live stream show on Black male spirituality, I have a very special guest, and we'll get to him in a second. But as always, I want to shout out all the high vibrational, high value guys listening, my brothers out there. I also want to shout out my sisters, the lovely high vibrational ladies who may be listening. So today's topic is brothers must become more sexually selective and responsible. And the special guest I referred to earlier is a man by the name of Subzero3639. I met Mr. Subzero at the Black Manosphere meetup in December of 2021. And, in the little bit of time I spoke with him, I was able to see right away that this man loves truth. He likes talking about truth. He likes encouraging brothers. He's not afraid to challenge brothers if it'll make them better. His channel, he talks a lot about, politics and self-improvement, particularly as it relates to Black men. And I told him I had to have him on because, someone who loves truth this much, I have to have a conversation. And I think Mr. Subzero will make some very interesting points. We were talking beforehand. And without further ado, let's bring him on, Mr. Subzero. Let's see. Let me add you to the stream. Subzero, how you doing this evening?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. I'm glad, we've been talking about this for a little bit now, and I'm glad that we're finally collabing. And I remember last week we were talking about, I think a couple weeks ago, we were talking about, what to talk about. And I know one of the things you were looking into at the time was this whole Andrew Tate thing. And, we started talking generally about, the kind of trouble that, men, and then, obviously, being part of this space of YouTube, talking about Black men particularly, how, being reckless out there sexually can be, very dangerous. Did you want to kind of, give your take a little bit
I'm gonna
more?
put it like this: Andrew Tate, and this is not me saying every man has to get married, okay? But Andrew Tate, remember, his philosophy was to not get married, and his reasoning behind it was, I guess, he didn't feel like he just wanted to have limits and different stuff. You can watch it, but I think he was evolving right before our eyes, and we all are. And you could see when he was talking that he was moving away from that playboy lifestyle type talk, and he was starting to talk about raising your kids and living for God and different things, which were good. And I just felt like a guy of his magnitude, who's probably at the time was the most Googled man on the planet, right?
Yeah.
He wielded a lot of power. And in those circumstances, you can become a victim. And he was cocky. And I mean, I loved it. I was sitting and watching an Andrew Tate video for hours and laugh. And he is a very interesting guy. And I just hate, like, clearly you can look at this guy and see that, okay, 6'1", 6'2", muscular, millionaire, drives a Lamborghini, Ferrari, big house, private jet, millionaire status, dresses nice, nice low body fat percentage, good looking guy.
Former kickboxer, he can fight.
Yeah, kickboxing champion. I'm like, man, what department was he not winning, right? And you start looking at that and you say, okay, is he running a sex trafficking? Is this guy raping women? Like, because that's really what they're trying to insinuate, that he's just a rapist. And I'm just like, he don't have to rape. I've been around, like I've promoted concerts. I've seen how women are with people that got status. Andrew Tate didn't have to rape nobody. And that's just not now. If you want to say he's making money off of some sex trafficking, that I disagree with that too, but I could see somebody saying that. But when they start talking about the man is raping somebody, it's just laughable. Now, the subject is about men and how we are loose with our, our sexual desires, how we'll just put our, copulate and unite our bodies with any woman.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, him and his brother, who are, let's be honest, at this point, they're very important people.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much got into the habit of having parties at their house with all these different women.
Mm-hmm. Probably with
And
alcohol, drugs.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got these women, white women, because that's key. We got to keep that in
Yep.
mind because I know everybody want to act like white women are you missing out, man. The white woman, like okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, her boyfriend calls up. She
Mm-hmm.
lies and says, "Well, no, they forced me to leave. They won't let me leave." Da, da, da. Well, she over there on her own volition. She all on camera
Mm-hmm.
outside. Everybody talked about that, right? That was one situation. Then you turn
Mm-hmm.
around, he goes and they talk about they got out of prison or whatever. But now that
Mm-hmm.
that blemish has been put there,
Mm-hmm.
that was his thing. And he was talking about it. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna put me in jail. They're gonna make something up. And I believe they fabricated this whole thing to put this
Mm-hmm.
man in jail. But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You gave them a vice.
Yep.
You gave them a vice. And look,
Mm-hmm.
he would be better served. This is my personal opinion. If he had just got two or three chicks and blew their
Mm-hmm.
backs out. Just that's what you do. You
Mm-hmm.
might have one, you got four in your rotation, three or four
Mm-hmm.
at the most that you
Mm-hmm.
trust.
Yep.
And everybody comes over and hangs out, but you don't have no damn group orgies
Mm-hmm.
and screwing, which is they made jokes about this type of stuff. Him and
Mm-hmm.
Tristan, and they was like, oh, the girl that was screaming that she was being held. They say she did some real nasty stuff when she was there. Well, that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. You copulating with a woman of low value, low morals
Yep.
that will shit on you. The other woman,
Mm-hmm.
there was another video, a viral clip of a woman who said that he raped her, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got video of him sitting at a fight, minding his business. She sweating the man. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this brother, tall, muscular, bald head, got the smooth,
Mm-hmm.
edged up beard, shades, dressed nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting on the side with his nice ass clothes on. No homo. This is just
Mm-hmm.
facts.
Yeah.
And she walk her ass up there trying to stress him. And you see the type of white woman that dudes will kill over.
Mm-hmm.
And Tate was like, look, I'm busy. I'm watching the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to you later. You can hear it in the video.
Mm-hmm.
She turns around when all this shit happened and come out talking about the man was raping her. This just go to
Mm-hmm.
show that these women that everybody think are so precious
Yeah.
can be some real bitches. And I'm talking about from a sense of
Mm-hmm.
the attractive dime chick. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I suspect the dime woman to probably be more treacherous than the damn average chick on the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and I think this is, the essence of what we're talking about tonight. When you deal with so many different women, that you may not know very well, that you may not trust very well, you just open the door for a lot of, things that can go really wrong. And it's like we've seen it, we've seen it with Andrew Tate. We saw it with Bill Cosby. And then Bill Cosby's stuff from his youth was coming back to bite him in terms of the women that came forward and all that kind of stuff. And then, R. Kelly, whether or not you believe he's guilty or innocent, that's not what I'm, here to talk about. What really ended these men, especially black men, and even Andrew Tate, I heard, is half black. A lot of these black men are ended because they have so many extraneous women in their life that could cause a lot of drama, whether that's the baby mama stuff, which is talked about a lot, but even from the perspective of allegations, from perspective of spiritually, someone who's negative in my mind will bring negative to you, whether they accuse you or not. And one of the things I thought was interesting too is like, we know how this stuff happens. It's like, girls with X guy, sort of like with Andrew Tate, boyfriend comes in the room or calls her phone or comes in the house, and then that's when all the drama starts. Whether
But
it's
Tate has told a few stories where he's had confrontations with boyfriends.
oh,
And
see, I didn't know that. I don't know
yeah, he
Tate like
had he
that.
had a girl, her boyfriend brought some dudes out, and his friend was trying to he hit his friend and knocked him out or something, knocked his friend out cold because his friend was scared. And
Wow,
then I think they tried to stab him or something. Like this is London. This is what happened in London because
wow,
some girl was at his house.
wow.
Now the dude showed up. See, this is the thing. some dude is thinking, okay, my girl's getting her back blowed out by some rich, successful guy who's
Mm-hmm.
handsome, attractive, and tall. I'm gonna fix him. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen this right here in Alabama. Well,
Oh,
not
really?
I'm in Alabama now, but when I
Yeah.
was living in Alabama, there was a brother who played named Varez Ward. He used to play for the University of Texas,
Mm-hmm.
right? He wound up transferring to Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
While at Auburn, he was hitting half the girls on. They said he was sleeping with every girl on that campus, right?
Wow. And
So
that's dangerous. I know there's a
hold
lot
on.
of young
Let
men
me tell you
in
how they got him. Let me tell you how they got him
college,
though.
the Title
This was on
IX
some other
opportunity.
stuff though. What
Yeah.
happened
Mm-hmm.
because of that, he made a lot of enemies with the other basketball players.
Uh,
They snitched on him. You can go Google this. The brother was the one point shaving.
yeah.
I think he was supposed to go to jail for that. So he was point
Oh,
shaving. He from Montgomery. This guy was a nice player. Went signed D1, and they had
wow.
him for point shaving. And you look at him and you like, man, you can look it up. It's about, I don't know, about 10 years ago. But that's the point I'm trying to make. It's like
Mm-hmm.
some stuff is easily avoided, and
Mm-hmm.
some stuff you can see coming. And I've played ball overseas. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
women overseas, some of the most treacherous,
Mm-hmm.
scandalous ass women you'll meet are foreign women. And that's what
Wow.
I, because from my experience. A lot
Yeah.
of brothers ain't stayed over there that long. You've been over there for a weekend, or
Yeah.
2 months, or you might do 2 weeks if you're
Yeah.
lucky, but stay over there for about 3-4 months. Play some
Yeah.
basketball, get out, get past the language, go over there and act like you ain't got no money. Be broke for real and see how they
Mm-hmm.
treat you. And watch how they
Mm.
talk to you. Watch what they say. And then befriend one of these
Mm-hmm.
dudes over in these foreign countries and listen to what they gotta say. Let these
Mm-hmm.
dudes in these foreign countries tell you how it is over there. And you'll
Yeah.
be like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, man, these women down. We as Americans, we're really gullible when we leave America. We just think it's
Mm-hmm.
all just, we project all this righteousness on people.
Yeah.
It's a human being, man. Everybody has the tendency to be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Americans are viewed worldwide as being wealthy.
Yeah.
And when you go over to these foreign countries, you got all this money in your pocket, and just like Andrew Tate, you got
Yeah.
all this money. You're doing this, you're doing that. These girls see you as a lick.
Yep.
And these women see Andrew Tate as a lick. I pretty much guarantee. Let me tell you what I think happened. Andrew Tate had a set rule of how he got down with women.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Tate didn't make no bones about it. He told them
Mm-hmm.
what it was, and they were with it, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't like it because guess what? The game got played, but they lost.
Yep.
See, when you play the game and you just got your legs pinned behind your head and he just did what he wanted to do with you, what did you get besides a nut? That's it. He
Mm-hmm.
just he bust a nut and he gone. Now
Mm-hmm.
you just in his rotation, you just in his stable. You're a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful woman though. You used to manipulating and
Mm-hmm.
dominating men. You can't
Mm-hmm.
dominate a brother that's masculine.
Mm-hmm.
But you hate him, but you don't. You obsess with him. Like that type of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. How can I win? How can I
Yep.
humble him? And that's what these women do. So they try
Yeah.
to talk him into being a husband, being their wife, and marrying
Mm-hmm.
him, and doing. And he was like, no, and then they couldn't dominate the brother. They wanted to
Mm.
subjugate him. That's how these women, dime women, a lot of times
Mm.
it's a competition with them. It's all about
Hmm.
who can get who wanting who the most.
Mm. Yeah, and it's so interesting. You're talking about dime women, and a lot of times guys will look at a woman, and then like I was saying on a comment one time, all we need to see, especially we as black men, a lot of times, all we need to see is a little butt, some breasts, maybe some shape, and then it's just like we lose our mind, and it's just like we have to have so bad to knock down a bad one, and it's just like, but that bad one is probably bad in ways we didn't realize. We don't know what kind of mental health issues she has. We don't know what kind of games she's playing, what bigger agenda she has. And again, I did a whole video on this whole pump and dump thing, or smash and dash. And it's just like guys act like they can just get away with it. They can mess with someone that may not be quality, and they could just get away with it. It doesn't touch them at all. They don't get dirty at all. But a lot of times they get dirty. And sometimes, like you said, with that one, the player you told me about, it's not so straightforward as, oh, a girl's going to accuse you because she's mad, you know. Even with, Tory Lanez, he was, supposedly hooking up with Meg the Stallion, and what bit him was not her saying something about what they did in the bedroom, but later on him continuing to hang out with her, and then that whole situation with,
But
him
but
getting,
but what
yeah,
gets me, she gets
yeah,
drunk. She has a drinking problem. She gets drunk. She wants to
mm-hmm,
fight. Her and her friend are fighting.
mm-hmm,
Tory Lanez, being the small little 5'4" guy he is,
mm-hmm,
pulls out a gun, shoots in the air, from what I hear,
mm-hmm,
and I don't know the rest of the details. But
mm-hmm,
that being said, she was ashamed to be with him. She didn't want nobody to know she was sleeping with him.
mm. Well, because what I had heard about that was that Meg the Stallion had introduced him to another woman he was supposedly supposed to be with, but he was cheating on her with Meg the Stallion. I don't know if you heard that one.
Yeah, I can see that. Meg is a
Yeah,
opportunist.
yeah,
She's a people climber. She sees somebody she can swing to that got a little something
yeah,
going for them. She'll jump on them. She'll turn
yeah.
her back. She turned her back on them record producer, the guy that brought her out.
Mm,
She turned her back on a lot of people.
mm,
When Cardi B was hot, she turned her back on Nicki Minaj. Nicki
mm,
Minaj hot. She tried to act like she got love for Nicki.
mm-hmm.
It's just she ain't got. She's not a good person.
Yeah,
She's not. She's the type of woman that you stay away from because,
yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you something, and it's just the way it works. Women
Mm-hmm.
like that got the best cooch you ever had in your damn life. The
Mm-hmm.
crazy, sick, psychotic women
Mm-hmm.
will fuck your brains out. They will.
Mm-hmm.
And those
Mm-hmm.
are the ones you need to stay away from. The ones that got the best head, they got the she
Mm-hmm.
know how to grab you right. She just the way she hold it in her hand, the way she stroke it with her hand, just
Mm-hmm.
everything. Just know how to turn you on. That's the
Yeah.
worst one. That's the worst one. That's the one gonna have your mind fucked up.
Well, and it's funny
Because you're
too.
gonna be remembering those moments like, man, that
Mm,
shit was so good. And that's
yeah.
what's gonna make you go back. And that's what's gonna get you in jail. That's what's gonna get you
Yep.
dead. That's what's gonna get you. It costs too much. The price ain't good enough for me.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, it's, and again, I mean, it's tough for guys because it's a lot of times, we as men, we want to have sex, sometimes, some of us go through droughts, sometimes some of us get out of relationship. And it's like when you put a woman in front of us, especially an attractive woman, it's just like, it's hard to resist that temptation. It's like you're not thinking about all the problems that could come from it. It because it's like, again, like you were saying, the women with the best head, the best sex, that's usually a woman that got some problems. There's a whole adage about um, how crazy women have the best sex. It's like we know in our minds that there's an issue, but again, we keep doing the same things, and some of us are lucky enough to where it doesn't blow back on us. But all it takes is one time, and then your reputation, your life is gone in a completely different direction you didn't intend.
That's it. I think that's ultimately what we face with brothers as brothers out here today. Um, I think that's ultimately what we face. And I think sisters too, because you said good
Yeah,
hello to the sisters.
yeah,
Sisters, you got dudes out here that all they want to do is fuck.
yeah,
They're not gonna get married,
yeah,
but they're gonna say they want to get married. But they
yeah,
really don't. When they see something quality, they just want to fuck. That's it.
yeah.
And that's something that I always talk about on my channel, and brothers
Mhm.
don't like that. Oh man, you just want to have sex. No, man, I'm looking for a wife. No, you're not. You're not looking for a wife. You're
Mhm.
looking for somebody to be for the night. That's it.
Mhm.
And girls, women, it's really rough for women a lot of times,
Mhm.
you know. So women have to be able to discern.
Yeah. Yeah. And, well, in some ways, I feel like, I know it's kind of tough because, there's a lot of women out here making bad decisions. But I do think in some ways, women do have an advantage over us where I feel like they will be slightly more discerning in some ways. And I'm sure people will come at me for saying that. But, because it's like, women, sex is easy for them. They can get any guy, well, not any guy in term, but they have a lot of options. But it's hard for us because, sometimes it can be a little more challenging, especially if you're an average guy, you're not particularly tall, you're not particularly wealthy. And it's just like any little opportunity you get, you feel like you need to jump on, whether or not it's a dime or just an average woman. So,
Yeah, but see, you
yeah.
can't. And this is the thing where I think black men need to really be careful
Yeah.
because this is where I will say you'll get your most damage at is
Mm.
when you think like that. That
Mm.
it, when you think there's no value, like think about it
Mhm.
this way. A good example, you see professional athletes and you see their first baby mama,
Mhm.
and it's usually some big girl
Oh
that they
yeah.
really, you know what I'm saying, when they was just down and out, they didn't know.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about the guy that was an All American in junior
Yeah.
high. I'm talking about the guy that snuck into the league, the fourth round, fifth round guy,
Yeah.
right? Then he gonna have his girlfriend after he made it,
Yeah.
right? And you can tell by the types of women they are. You see them. Good example, Dwayne Wade. You know,
Yeah. I was just thinking that just a few minutes
yeah,
ago.
Dwayne
Continue.
Wade was the exact same way. I mean, he
Yeah.
chose a certain type, certain caliber of woman, and that's what he was with. You know, but as time went on, he realized that. You know, I don't think he realized. I think really, as we look back in hindsight, she was the
Mhm.
better woman, and she probably he should have she should have got custody. Now I remember brothers were celebrating when Dwayne Wade got custody of his kids and thought that was a
Yeah.
good thing. Now we see that was a disaster. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
know
I
that was
mean,
a pure disaster. Those
yeah.
would let him ride, let him and D Wade. What's they had that little boy out there 6 years old at a doggone gay
Mm.
pride parade.
Mhm.
You
Or
know,
thinking that he's, not really a man,
that's
which,
what I'm saying. And they talking about he's
yeah.
a woman and he meeting with Michelle Obama and like,
Yeah.
man, come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
That's a
and so you think about someone like Gabrielle Union, like Gabrielle Union, a lot of black men, it's like, oh man, she's fine. I even my me myself, she's an attractive woman, and it's just like, but a lot of times brothers don't think about the larger issues. It's like, okay, a woman might be attractive woman, better than women you got in your past, but what's she gonna do to your son or your kids if y'all got married, or let's say
I
you
mean, if
are,
I'm think about
yeah,
it, if you're out, and it ain't just
yeah,
that, man. She talks
yeah.
about licking his ass, licking. I mean, she just put it like the stuff I've heard her talk. I'm like, first of all, I ain't letting no woman do that. But even if you do, why would she ever repeat that shit?
Yeah, yeah. It's just
Like
like what's sacred between you
that's
and
a
her.
lack of respect.
Mhm.
Did she say, "Yeah, I had him. I lick his." Like what?
Mhm.
And my thing is, if you're gonna go all that far with it, you know, I'm like, shoot, you might well be gay. If you're gonna do all that, right? If you sitting there laying there holding your legs open like a damn woman, like what the hell is that? What is that? Like you know what I'm saying? Like that ain't no real nigga. I'm sorry, I'm old. I'm country now. You ain't no real nigga anyway. So you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you, she probably turned his ass out. You can tell. She
Could
turned his
be.
little because she way older than him. She got a lot of fucking under her
Mm,
belt. She probably
yeah.
turned his little ass out. That's what she did. Turned him out, and he couldn't handle it. And now the nigga got blonde hair, and you
Yeah.
know he around here looking like got his son turned whatever she say he do.
Yeah.
And so I just don't have no respect for that dude. And so my thing is, but see, I have to say his house and how his house looks is a reflection of him as a man. It got nothing to do with her.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
let her do that to you. So you a weak ass man.
Mhm.
I always hold
Mhm.
men accountable first.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I just don't,
Mhm.
I ain't letting no woman do me like that, man. I don't give a damn what it is. We just gonna get a divorce. You ain't finna have me around here like that.
Yeah, and I think what you said is exactly right. With it's a reflection of the man. Before we got on, I was talking to you about how there's that whole phrase, judge a man by his friends. But for me, I would say judge a man by who he sleeps with, who's he in a relationship with, because all that'll affect him. Things will happen around a guy because he's so thirsty for the sex that he'll just allow any old crazy thing to come along with it, any
Yeah.
old emasculating thing, from the perspective you were talking about, but for me, the brass tacks for me, I'm an open-minded guy when it comes to sexuality, at least with regard to adults, not children. But you know, at the very least, have some discretion about you. One of the things that always worries me is the type of woman that'll go on social media and tell too much of her business. Like, I appreciate women like my ex, who was a private person. She would want to crucify me if I talked about specifics of what we were doing in public. And then there's a
Well,
girl
look,
I'm
it's nothing
talking to
more
now, same thing.
There's nothing more sexy and attractive than a woman that's a lady. Because look,
Yeah,
we are men. We're sexual anyway.
yeah.
I can look at you in a dress. I can tell damn near what you look like naked.
Hmm.
Like we're men. That's how we are. I can look at you and I'm talking
Hmm.
about in a split second. Okay, she got a nice ass. She got a flat stomach. She look good naked. We could tell in seconds.
Mm.
And you can look at a woman and say, okay, she got on a waist trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she take that off. Her gut gonna be hanging this way. Her butt gonna
Yeah.
be going this way, and everything going in its own direction. So you can tell. And
Mhm.
so if you, it's nothing like seeing a woman, regardless of her body, right?
Mhm.
Regardless of what she is,
Yeah.
it's not like seeing a woman and she doesn't show it and she's
Mhm.
classy,
Mhm.
right? She ain't. You go on her Instagram, she ain't got a bunch of ass pictures,
Mhm.
right? Pretty.
Mhm.
You can see one. You got to scroll way
Mhm.
down at the bottom. You might say, "Oh, she got a thick ass." You never knew. But the
Mhm.
whole profile, you don't know. You don't know she ain't got the ass shot turning around from the back of the camera. You know how it look.
Mhm.
They facing back.
Yeah.
She ain't got those. Like
Yeah.
Erica Badu just did one with her daughter,
Yeah.
right? Her daughter's just turned 18, and you got a picture up there with you. And Erica fine as
Yeah.
hell, but come on, Erica, you 40 something
Yeah.
years old, man. Erica about my age. No, Erica,
Mhm.
you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, imagine if it was like a black male celebrity and his son, black man who's a celebrity and his son doing something goofy, like throwing up gang signs or sagging their
I could
pants
see
or
that. Yeah, I could. Yeah.
it's just like that's the goofiest shit ever. It's like,
But that's what that's equivalent to when you stand up there with your ass out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of the things I also, would add to what you were saying, because I think, the bottom line of what we're talking about is that a lot of men will go after things that aren't quality because of the thirst. They see a fat ass, they see tits, they see whatever the case may be. But it's just like, that it's not quality. A lot of times, these so-called bad chicks don't really go to the gym, they don't exercise, they don't eat healthily. What's more important to me than a bad chick with a butt and shape is a woman who's about health, fitness, exercises, eats right, isn't eating a bunch of calories every day. That's what's more important. And then obviously the character, and then how she carries herself. It's like there's so many things that guys skip over because they aren't really being selective and discerning about something as basic as who they have sex with. They'll talk a big game about relationship, but even then I think it's still even questionable then. But when it comes to who they have sex with, it's just like there's no standard at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it like this. I think who women sleep with, and I'm not gonna be popular in this space with this comment, but you know what? I'm me. So I'm gonna say this, man. For me, I've never had a problem getting women.
Yeah.
It's been so easy. Like it's like taking candy
Mm-hmm.
from a baby. Very
Mm-hmm.
easy for me. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I cannot relate to the average brother that struggles to get with women. I just
Mm-hmm.
can't. I don't understand how any man
Yeah.
can struggle. I live in Atlanta. So maybe, maybe that has a lot to do with it. You live in Atlanta.
Sub-Zero, you there?
Yeah, I got a call. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. You were
So,
saying, sorry.
yeah, a lot of things are just set up a certain way where people are, guys that complain in this space, talk about what they can't get and what they can't. A lot of times you got to do the work, man. And as far as
Mm-hmm.
worrying about who a woman's with sexually,
Mm-hmm.
that can be you. Like it's not. I always thought like
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't care who the girl is. I always
Mm-hmm.
thought that could be me.
Mm-hmm.
She messing with this dude, but she could be messing with me just as easy. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, hey, he won. He the better man. He got it. Or
Mm-hmm.
I won. I'm the better man today. it doesn't. It's not like it's a set rule. Like
Hmm.
thugs get women. Bullshit. Excuse my
Yeah.
French. Thugs do not listen. I hate that damn caricature of
Yeah.
well the thugs get all the women. Shit.
Well,
Okay.
it's just like what kind of women are they getting? That's the question I have. Okay,
Well, yeah. I mean, if you talking
let's
about a hood ratchet chick, yeah. But if
yeah,
that's not the woman you want anyway. But they'll say
yeah.
something like, "Well, no, the educated women want thugs too." Bullshit. I went to Tuskegee. I'm telling you
Hmm.
right now, that was not the case. I'm on a
Yeah.
black HBCU campus, top 5 campus. We got all
Hmm.
types of women from all over the world. And I'm telling you right now, they wasn't all checking for street niggas.
Hmm.
Like that's a myth. That's not true. That's a stereotype. It's a caricature. It's not
Hmm.
even real. And so when I hear people talk like that, I'm like, man, these people just making stuff up, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that, I've heard, I was actually watching, I did a series, you may have seen it on my channel, where I was talking about, I was reacting to an old Paul Elam video. It was like how to get laid. But why I reacted to it was because he was talking to young men more particularly about being more selective and careful and prioritizing things other than sex. Not only just because, it'll actually happen to help you get, better results, but because caring for your own safety, your own purpose, your own reputation. But one of the things he said is that there have been serial killers that get a bunch of love letters while they're in jail.
Yeah.
And he was all like, do you want to speculate about the mental health of those women that fall in love with killers and murderers? Is like, is that the vagina you would sell your soul for? And it's just like, even if I were to grant the point, because I could see it to a certain extent, those aren't the women I want anyway. Anyway, if you're going for Pookie Ray Ray or whatever caricature, then that's not even who I want to deal with
I
anyway.
mean, and
Especially,
that
yeah,
therein is what I'm saying. I don't think
yeah,
I'm gonna tell you something. Me and most brothers I know that are of any type of quality,
mm,
they tend to want to be with the stuck up, snooty, well, lady type. She's not. I'm not known for being a freak.
mm-hmm,
That's the woman. And I hate to say this. I ain't gonna say I hate to say it because I'm married to one.
mm-hmm.
The AKA Delta type. Like that's the one. The okay. She's the Greek woman has probably got something going for her. She's not just. She's
Mm,
educated. She got something. She's not just the average ratchet hood rat chick on
mm,
the side twerking at the club or something with a while she's
mm,
still holding her bag, her pocketbook, and she up there twerking. You know, that's
mm-hmm.
where that's where I'm from. I'm from the South, so
Yeah.
that's how they get down where I'm from. Like girls will be in the club twerking in the mirror, still holding their purse. That's how they get down, right? But
Ex-
that's not. I'm just telling you when you look at women like that. It's just, and I don't know. For me, it's always been a thing of women are emotional. A
mm,
woman will look you in your face, tell you what she doesn't want, and then she'll go fuck the dude she say she don't want.
exactly.
These are women. They're emotional. They'll say I don't like tall guys or I don't like short men, and
Mm-hmm.
then you see their ex he 5'5". You're like, wait a minute. I thought you didn't like tall guys. I mean, I thought you didn't like short guys. Well, I don't like him, but he made me laugh, and so I'm like, okay, so there's no real set. No, no, I have a type. I have a type. He's tall, he's muscular, he's smart, he loves God, he's this. And then you got a dude that on a complete short, not muscular.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's a Nuwabian or something. He don't even go to church. He's
Mm-hmm.
just complete opposite of everything she says she wants. Right? And you
Mm-hmm.
look at it and brothers, they get confused and they say, well, see, they're lying. They don't really want that. They want it. It's just that they're
Mm-hmm.
emotional. And the
Hmm.
brother that got to her and got her to spread them legs and put them behind her head was the guy that understood how to make her feel something. Whatever you make a woman feel, that's what she's gonna give you. If you
Mm-hmm.
make her feel a certain way. Women are
Mm-hmm.
about feeling. And I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of brothers in this space don't know that. They think,
Mm-hmm.
man, she chose this guy. You're thinking logical, brother. You thinking like a man. You'll never
Mm-hmm.
understand a woman if you think like that. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta understand it's about feelings. How do you
Mhm.
make me feel? If you make me feel good, I can care less about the other things. And that's it.
Mhm.
And that supersedes or dislodges her from all these preferences and her
Mhm.
list. And so when these brothers like, well, yeah, your standards are too high. That's when you having an intellectual conversation with a woman. They'll
Mm.
give you all these stupid ass things. That's bullshit. I don't believe that shit. I don't believe it.
Mhm.
When I hear a woman talk like that, I was always the guy. Whenever a woman tell me some shit, well, you know what? I want a guy that's like this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You gonna give me
Mm.
that ass. That's how I'm thinking to myself. You giving me that ass. I don't care what you say. You gonna give me that ass, and you ain't gonna be able to stop me. And a lot of times, not every time, obviously, but a
Mhm.
lot of times I was right. And it
Mm.
was, I thought you ain't like, I didn't say it, but in my mind, I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I knew it. Like you
Mhm.
talked all that, you just emotional.
Mhm. And
And so,
I've seen that myself. I remember going out with a girl who told me she didn't do hookups, and then we continued talking. It's like, well, I did it with a woman once. Well, actually, I remember I did it with a guy because I asked him to show me his, penis, and I wanted to have sex with him, and then I ended up hooking up with her the same night. you know. So, but Sub, you there?
yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, what you're saying is exactly right. And I think it's a double-edged sword because, the emotions can be fickle. They can be fickle in a way that might work to your favor, but they also can be fickle in a way that could lead to, some very bad results. All it takes is for, she might be into what's going on while it's happening, but all it takes is for something to trigger her to feel bad later. And then, you get Andrew Tate's situation and all the other men we've mentioned in this stream. Um, so
Exactly.
yeah. And one of the things I wanted to say, I know you said you've never had trouble with women, but there was a time in my life where I wasn't getting women. But, now being older and having gone through different relationships and some other things, with women, like, the way I see it is that sometimes when a woman rejects you, it's a mercy. It's like, you think, oh man, I could have gotten that, but you don't know what would have come of you getting with that woman, you know?
Yeah, I don't really think black men need to concern themselves so much with sex in a young age.
Yeah.
I know that the hormones tell you the complete
Yeah.
opposite, yeah, but you really don't. I think
Mm,
when you're young, you 17, 18 years old, you don't know who you are.
mhm,
You have a tendency to think that everything is eternal. Like
mhm,
if you go to school and something bad happens, you got to live with it the rest of your life. That's a lie, right?
mhm,
So you think that, okay, I'm not in this social pyramid at the top of the social pyramid, so I'm gonna forever be a loser, or and that's just not the case. Then you see it
mhm.
with Columbine High School and all
Yeah.
these kids that came into these school shootings and
Yeah.
acting a fool over somebody made a joke or somebody made a viral clip.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, somebody made a viral clip, and one of my students is asking me something. Man, sorry about that.
Oh, it's no
But yeah,
problem.
so and it's not like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
what?
Yeah. One of the
Uh,
things I wanted to get into with you a little bit is, how can men, we as black men in particular, be better about discerning and being more selective. I'll start on my end. One of the things I do, because I do a lot of online dating, and I've dated in some interesting circles. I've dated in the BDSM lifestyle in particular. But one of the things I do is like when I'm on a site where I go to meet a woman, like I really look at her profile carefully because a profile can tell you so much about a woman. Like there's some, and it's the same thing we see on these dating shows where they talk about the kind of man they want or their deal breakers. It's just like you read what they're saying and it's just like, man, she sounds very angry, she sounds like she's had a lot of traumas she hasn't healed from. You could just hear the negativity, just reading it on a page. You look at the pictures, you look at how she dresses, you look at her hair, you see if she's all tatted up. You look at it, the hair she's wearing looks like her real hair. All of that says something about a person. You look at the fitness, that tells a lot about discipline, that tells a lot about, the choices they make about what goes into their mouth. If they don't make good choices on that, how are they going to make good choices about other things? So it's just like I look at things, and then two, I'm very intentional when I message a woman. I ask very specific questions about what's important to you. And sometimes it's not so much the answer, it's how they answer it. Are they going to actually give me something that has thought behind it? Or are they going to say, oh, you don't understand what I'm saying? I thought what I said was clear. There's just so many little things. And it's like, I got to the point where like, I don't even like pictures unless I've looked at the profile and I think they're a good person. And then, if someone's messaging me and I feel like they're rubbing me the wrong way, I will end the conversation. Because sometimes it's just like the negative energy is palpable, the attitude is palpable. So those are, just a couple of things I do, to kind of be more selective. What would you advise young men? I know you're married and everything yourself, but what would you advise young men to pay attention to as they determine what woman they get involved with on any level?
Um, Ultimately, I think a woman is a helpmeet. I think if you're not really focused on a purpose in life, you're not really growing towards something. You're probably bad for her, just as like she probably would be bad for you.
Mm,
Um, and I've seen men make women the centerpiece of their reality.
mm,
This is who I want to be with, and I
mm,
think she's gonna make me a great wife. And this girl
mm,
doesn't even know you exist. So it's like, I've been there around the block a few times. I just think when it comes to vetting women and
mm,
seeing, okay, how can I steer clear of a bad woman? Number one, first of all, you see a sign of disrespect,
mm,
address it right then, or you will
mm,
regret it.
mm,
You don't have to go off and cuss a girl out, but you do need to
mm,
let a woman know, hey, I didn't appreciate this.
mm,
This is why. Or why'd you do
mm,
that? That wasn't cool, man. You shouldn't have done that.
mm,
That's nice and friendly.
mm,
But you letting her know in a firm way, hey,
mm,
that it wasn't cool.
mm,
And I ain't appreciate that. So if it happens again, you're like, well, I already told you it wasn't cool, and in that
mm,
way you can go and keep it moving. A lot of times, a lot of the drama that brothers say they have to face comes
mm,
from staying around a woman that you don't want. And I've seen, brother,
mm,
another thing you should never do.
mm,
Don't be out here diving up and down in a woman that you don't really want to be with.
mm,
And that sounds very rudimentary, but I'm just telling you, when you diving up and down on a woman randomly who you
mm,
really don't see
mm,
yourself really being married to or even having kids with, for one, you're not emotionally available for the woman that you probably really gonna wind up being with. And the man,
mm,
well, it ain't really then for me. It's just recreational fucking. It's just,
yep,
well, yeah, but guess what? That energy that you giving off when you're having
yep,
sex is what motivates you to want to be with a woman. And I think you can see that in the marketplace today with
mm,
marriage not meaning what it used to be,
yep,
because men used to literally get married to have sex. Like that's literally what you had to do back in the day.
mm.
And if you had sex with a girl and she got pregnant, you were going to the courthouse because her dad's gonna show up at your house with a gun. And y'all going to the courthouse
Shotgun.
and you gonna have a shotgun, right? But that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Is like now feminism has made a woman's vagina so low in value now to where I could go on my phone, any guy can go on his phone and scroll and see a woman's
Mm-hmm.
coochie print. And she claims
Mm-hmm.
she working out in the gym, but all we looking at is the coochie.
Mm-hmm.
We like, God dang, it's eating up the shorts. Like what, that's how people be
Mm-hmm.
talking in the comments. And
Yep.
she knows that. Women, as much as they try to play like they're not cognizant, they're very
Mm-hmm.
cognizant of our sexual desires and how we are sexually and what we want. They know
Mm-hmm.
it, and they try to put everything in your face and make you want them. And then they
Mm-hmm.
see women like that. I say steer clear from, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's another sign. The disrespect, thirst trapping,
Yep.
trying to get
I
men,
agree.
trying to get men to be
Mm-hmm.
thirsty. I'm not really a guy who thinks that a woman that wants a guy to spend money is a gold digger automatically, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm 40 something years old, man. I make good money. If I
Mhm.
if I was single, I would do a lot of shit. I'm not gonna trick off and just buy women to love
Mhm.
me. But
Mhm.
if I'm into you and we connecting, I'll take your ass somewhere and spend $200.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, my last relationship, I make good money for, a young guy, like, I'm only in my 30s, but like, like I would take her to dinner, I would take her on trips. We went to Vegas, we went to Miami, went to
Yeah, and see
Jacksonville. Yeah.
that's what they call simping. See what I'm saying?
Well,
It's
it's
not you weren't simping, but what I'm saying is that's literally what they call simping nowadays. It's just a man being with a woman and the man taking care of the brunt of the expenses.
yeah.
Obviously, the woman's if she's worth a damn is gonna pay for something. She ain't gonna just let you buy everything. But most women,
Mhm.
most dudes, we and another thing, man.
Mhm.
I would advise guys to do if you're really trying to be successful, stay off these damn red pill YouTube channels. Stay off this shit. Listen, man, I see brothers telling people shit like, "Look, man, if a woman texts you, hey stranger, what you doing?" and you respond, you a simp. Or I seen a dude say, if you take a woman to get a Starbucks coffee, you simping. I'm like, a cup of coffee?
Oh man.
If you take a chick to Starbucks, you simping. Like you can't
Mhm.
take a woman. You should never pay for any dates. Like these are just random, just people on the internet. And guess what? That
Mhm.
type of content is popularized. You got people that have
Yeah.
grown, and especially in the white community, in the red pill white community, it's
Yeah.
gargantuan channels where these guys are just saying a bunch of unrealistic bullshit. And they
Yeah.
got all these incels listening to them. And the reason
Mhm.
you're an incel, you whacking off every day, right? Which is something I would also tell a guy if you want to be successful, stay away from porn,
Mhm.
right? Because I know people don't probably want to hear that, but
Mhm.
a lot of times porn ruins your imagination
Mhm.
because you sitting there whacking off watching porn all day. When it
Mhm.
comes time for you to beat a woman, you ain't gonna be able to get it up. You're not gonna be able to get it up because you busting all day, right? And
Mm.
dudes do that, and you train your body to come real fast when you finally get something because that's what you're doing. So it's you know pornography is just not good in a myriad of ways. It's just a lot
Mm.
of people have addictions. It destroys
Mhm.
marriages and relationships. Dudes, I seen a dude right hand out straight up. I'm not lying.
Mhm.
I knew the dude. He's a cool brother. He used to work at the gym, right?
Yeah.
This dude girlfriend was so bad. Like
Mhm.
wherever she would go, people would just stop in
Mhm.
traffic. They would literally just turn around. She
Mhm.
would cause. She's actually. They say she's caused accidents. Like she that bad.
Mhm.
She was talking to my homeboy, like trying dating him, right?
Yeah.
And she said, "Man, my man won't touch me." And that was the dude that worked at the gym, and I knew him.
Oh,
She said, "He
wow.
won't touch me." She said he'd rather just get some lotion and watch porn than be with me.
Wow.
See, I walk around in panties, everything. He don't want me. He said, I walk around in my panties, I walk around in the
Uh,
bra. I sit on the couch with my legs wide open, and he
mm.
still don't want it.
Mm.
That's what it
Interesting.
is.
I wonder if there's other things going on in that relationship too,
I
but,
mean, he was
yeah.
addicted to pornography. He was just
Okay.
she basically put it out there. He's addicted to pornography,
Uh
and all he does when he walks in the house, porn.
Well, because what I'm curious about is like to me, it seems like there's something wrong there. It's like why is he going to the porn as opposed to his woman? I think there's probably something deeper. I mean, the guy, I don't, but
Well, I
that's
don't know him
yeah,
either. I
yeah.
think
Okay,
I'm gonna be straight up with you. This is what I
okay.
personally. I don't want to go into the small hats, but what I'm gonna say is this: the people that created pornography designed it to do what it's doing. The stuff, the
Mm,
negative outcome, that's what they wanted. They said that. That's what they created it for. We don't think that. We think it's fun and it's harmless. But they wanted it to destroy marriages and have people out here not having a good. It ruins your sex life because a lot of
mm,
times, also, you watch a porn video,
mm,
dude sitting there having sex for an hour straight, didn't bust one time. Just like porn stars, just they're sitting there just
mm.
going, just.
Well, they probably pumped them full of pills.
But that's what I'm saying. But we
Hmm.
don't know that.
Yeah,
We just watching and we thinking, man, he's just doing this off the natural.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so we get this mindset. Oh, you think you're gonna have sex? like a porn, like you leaning over, you trying to do the things that they do in the videos
Mhm.
instead of trying to learn the woman's body, what
Mhm.
makes her happy, what she likes,
Mhm.
paying attention to what she likes. It's a lot of
Mhm.
stuff. If you
Actually
want to
connect
find
with
it,
the
another
person.
thing, yeah, exactly. You
Mhm.
learn her damn cut the TV off. Just like I tell you when you get out here and date,
Yeah.
cut the damn TV off, cut these YouTube clips off of these
Yeah.
dudes telling you what to do, and go out here and get in the streets, get in the woman's face, and connect with her on an organic level. Just you
Hmm.
guys talk, communicate, vibe with each other, and then you'll know, okay, me and this woman are, because I'm gonna tell you something, the woman that's
Mhm.
probably gonna be the most sexually compatible with you and be the woman that rock your world would probably be a woman that's a 6 or a 7, but everybody's chasing a dime.
Mhm.
But the one that you would be right there in your face, like,
Mhm.
man, I ain't really think. But guess what? When it's time, when y'all getting it in, you'll change. You'll be like, man, I really dig
Mhm.
this chick. Not
Mhm.
just I'm not just talking about sexual. I'm talking about just in
Yeah.
general. The man, the way she see the world, she this, she. But you
Yeah.
wouldn't have never had that conversation with her. She wouldn't. Have, and guess what? The more you talk to somebody, the more you get to see their aura and this. And I'm not into
Yeah.
this vibrational stuff, but the more you get
Yeah.
to see someone's, you know, spirit and how they are
Yeah.
on the inside, what happens is you
Mhm.
start changing what they look like. They start
Mhm.
looking attractive.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times the woman that you want, she'll become more attractive
Mhm.
once you get to know her. Y'all sit, y'all talk for hours, and dudes will be like, "Man, she alright, she ain't all that."
Mhm.
But to you, you gotta die.
Yeah, yeah, and I like how again, I know you don't believe in some of this stuff, but like, I like how you touched on the energy part because I think a lot of times, what truly is attractive, especially if you're someone who's paying attention and who isn't being thirsty, what's really attractive is who a person is. Do they emit a positivity from them or do they emit negativity? Like my ex, she was so wonderful, not because she was, the most attractive woman in the world. I mean, she was attractive and I thought she had a nice body and, she still does. Obviously, she's still here, but, you know, it was just how positive she was and how she encouraged me to be more positive and helped me see some of the negativity and the shortcomings within myself and encouraged me. And she didn't even do this directly, but on my own, seeing how she is and seeing how I am, I wanted to be better, and I think a lot of guys, they don't even think about that. They look at Meg the Stallion, they look at Cardi, they look at whoever it is you fantasize about, some random girl at the gas station, and you're looking at the body, but you're not even thinking about, what kind of energy is coming from them. And I think a lot of guys don't even see the type of energy that's coming from, the women that they're checking out. One of the things, on that point too, that I wanted to bring up was that, there's this, I remember hearing, just Pearly say this, and, I've heard other people say this, where they try to make the point that sex is only spiritual for women, but not for men. What are your thoughts on that, Sub? Sub Zero, you there? Hello? Sub Zero?
Hello?
Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I had lost. You was chopping in and out for a second.
Oh, okay. Well, the audience heard, but one of the things I was getting into was just, the whole spirituality side of things. We were talking about positivity, positive energy, and I know you said you don't, get into the vibrational stuff, but one of the things I was wondering is, what do you think of this notion that sex is only spiritual for a woman and not a man?
No, not at all. I don't believe that one bit.
Yeah, because I remember Just
I don't
Pearly like was
ask
saying,
ask that
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah, she said that, but see, I'm gonna tell
yeah,
you what Just Pearly did. Just
yeah,
Pearly's going viral because she's gotten a lot of men. But
yeah,
everything Just Pearly says is not gospel. And I
yeah.
like her. I like a lot of what she has to say. But like, for example, Brittany Renner lowering, like she's just not gonna get
Mhm,
a qual. Yeah, Brittany Renner probably won't get a superstar celebrity famous guy. I agree.
mhm,
But can she get a multimillionaire guy with a private jet? Yes, hell yeah.
mhm.
Hell
Okay.
yeah. Any
Well, but
good
what?
looking woman, if a woman still has her looks, and they say, okay,
Mhm.
you didn't hit the wall at 30. Not
Yeah.
necessarily. You think you hit the wall, you ain't hit no damn wall. So that's what I'm saying. It's like we make up these little
Yeah.
stories like, well, you know what, man, she hit the wall. You want her to hit the wall. That girl ain't hit no wall where she can't get no man.
Mm.
She ain't hit the wall where she can't get a certain type of man. And they were like, well,
Mhm.
he's only gonna be with her. I'm like, I'm gonna tell you how I know how I'm telling the truth.
Mm.
If
How?
Brittany Renner came, she's a celebrity, right?
Yeah.
If she comes to Atlanta,
Mhm.
there are dudes that do real estate that's probably worth 10, $15 million that live
Mhm.
in Atlanta that don't nobody know who they are.
Mm.
If they say, okay, we finna have a party next week, and he
Mhm.
walks in the room with Brittany Renner on his arm, what is
Mhm.
his friends gonna say to him? You think they're gonna be like, man, you with a freak, man, she a slut? Or they gonna be like, man, you the man, dog, you brought Brittany Renner, you the man. So it's still levels to certain things.
Yeah.
So to say that that girl ain't gonna be able to get something is just
Yeah.
bullshit, man.
Yeah. But
It's
what about the
bullshit.
well, say more on the part about the it's only spiritual for women and not for men. Like how would you counter that if someone said that in a debate or a discussion?
I mean, it's easier for a woman to say that, and a man would say something like that in a dating guru type situation.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I've just seen women. A good
Mhm.
example is Kim Kardashian.
Mhm.
I mean, look at the Kardashians. Do you think for 1 second it's not a spiritual thing when you sleep with them women? I wouldn't touch them.
That's how I feel about Beyonce. Like I know, like Kevin Samuels used to say Beyonce's an 8, Kelly Rowland's a 9, Rihanna's a 10. But I don't fantasize
Rihanna's
about
not a 10.
yeah. But
Yeah,
the point is, I don't fantasize about Beyonce at all because I mean I don't know what kind of stuff she's into behind the scenes. Like some of it's conspiracy theories I've heard.
that's not conspiracy theories. I
But
believe she's into witchcraft. I believe it. I don't even think it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, either way, it's just like there's something negative about her that would keep me from her. I mean, same thing with most of these women. I was telling one friend, I don't care if Meg the Stallion is naked in my bed. I would not touch a Meg the Stallion. I would politely ask her to leave, and I'd probably record just to make sure, there's evidence that I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think the larger point is that a lot of times we go on and on in this space about, oh, women make bad decisions, Pookie, Ray Ray, but it's just like we as men are not encouraging each other to make better decisions. And I think by sleeping with the wrong women, you're reinforcing that wrong woman. Like imagine a world where we as men, not just black men but all men, said, we're not going to deal with low quality women. We don't care how attractive they are. If there's something low quality, whether it's physical, mental,
I
spiritual.
mean, but Benny, hold on. Even if I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about the spiritual thing you just
Yeah.
said. So let's really follow this for a second.
Hmm.
Now, and this is gonna sound fucked up, but I just bear with me.
Yeah.
Just go into the mind of a kid or somebody that's 22 years old, young, right?
Hmm.
And they got this girl they've been wanting to get with for years,
Hmm.
right? And they finally get to have sex with her. And they have sex like 6, 7 times,
Hmm.
right? Where he's all just really into it.
Hmm.
He really enjoying it. He wanted, and then she just pulls back, right? And he
Hmm.
not what does he feel? Is he upset because he ain't getting the sex? Or is it now his feelings he's into it? Cause yeah, it was
Hmm.
sex, but he also in because I've been that 20-year-old
Hmm.
that's inexperienced and got with one girl
Hmm.
and we had
Yeah.
some great I mean, it was just
Yeah.
amazing. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best ever. And then she started tripping. And I was like,
Hmm.
damn, baby. Like, why you do that? I didn't get it.
Hmm.
I didn't understand. She's just young and stupid. But to me at the time,
Hmm.
that shit was depressing, man. And it's like, okay,
Hmm.
you really just going through the withdrawals of losing the sex. Well, I think that's spiritual.
Yeah.
I think that's a spiritual bond
Hmm.
because guess what? For the next 2, 3 years, if anybody even mentioned her damn name, my blood pressure would spike
Mm.
because I would get like, damn, I wish I could have her back. Like that's what I was saying to
Mhm.
myself. I would never say that aloud, but in my mind, I
Yeah.
was like, man, I miss her, boy. That mom, know she got some good. And it wasn't just the sex though. It wasn't. It
Yeah.
was. It was the communication, the things we
Mhm.
said, the way we would lay there and talk to each other after it was over and
Mhm.
laugh.
Yeah.
I just felt like I had the right one, and then that shit
Yeah.
fall apart. You tell me
Yeah.
that shit don't affect the man. That's
Yeah.
why we're so closed and guarded with our hearts, because it already has
Mhm.
affected it. If a man
Yeah.
was, if sex wasn't spiritual, then men
Mhm.
wouldn't be so guarded with their hearts.
I would also say, that this concept of being pee whipped wouldn't exist because I think, again, like you were saying, I think it's more spiritual. Obviously, physical pleasure, can be a very attracting force in some ways and, enjoyable and you want to go back to what you enjoy. But I think it's further than that, when, you've allowed a woman to control you that much to where, your whole world collapses if she's gone. Or, you're just so obsessed, you don't hold her accountable. You just allow any kind of behavior, any kind of talk from her because you're whipped. Again, I think that's spiritual. And what you were saying about witchcraft, that's something to think about. I remember I was talking to Ricky on one of our lives, and he was talking about how he believes a lot of women are into witchcraft. There are a lot more women into witchcraft than we realize.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot of witches out here. I mean, I think
yeah,
Summer Walker is a witch. I think Beyonce is a witch. I think and Summer Walker has all types of stuff on her album cover. Like
oh, okay.
I'm not talking about just like images. I'm talking about real live pictures she put, not on album, but she posted a picture on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram talking about being a witch. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's a witch. Probably Erica Badu. I don't really know. And what happens is people disguise this stuff with what they call African spirituality and
Mm-hmm.
this and that. And so look, man, for me, witchcraft, real simple. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't really got to think too tough. You worshiping the moon or something. Yeah, you on something else. And I just don't want have nothing to do with you. And I've seen women like that. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
women that are on that crazy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful women, but they crazy. Like I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
a good example. What's that chick
Mm-hmm.
name? Shira. Oh man, Shira
Shira
Seven.
7.
She was something, but it's this woman. She's in
I
her
think
upper.
Shira 7.
Yeah, she's 50 or something, but she's
Oh,
in her
okay.
50s. But she
Mm-hmm.
good looking, still good looking woman.
Mm-hmm.
Straight witch,
Mm-hmm.
straight witch. She says she's a witch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, bro, the type of, and this woman talking about casting spells. And look, man, when you get into that type of stuff where you talking about casting spells and manipulation and forcing somebody to do what you want them to do, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be with a woman like that.
Yeah, and
I don't even want to deal with you. I'd rather just deal with the traditional, go to
mm,
church, pray, basic. That's me. That's my lane. That's where I'm going to stay.
mm.
I just
Yeah,
don't want to deal with that.
I respect that, and I kind of have a different form of spirituality, as you know. So I don't personally think all women who are, necessarily even witches are necessarily dangerous, but I do think there is a danger, if she is trying to cast spells, and people can do that during sex.
But
There's
hold
this
on
thing
now.
called
Well, hold
sex.
on now. What is a witch, though? Because if you think about it, and I'm not trying to be a stickler, but just think about it, bro.
Yeah,
Any
yeah,
woman that is a witch because she wants to, you use, I don't want to call it powers. You use potions, you use
yeah,
crystals, you use talisman and
yeah.
different talismans and things to will your way into a certain area and manipulate things to your will. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm,
And you could say it in a sense of the original Greek interpretation of the word
mm-hmm,
uh, witchcraft, and it's basically in its purest form is just controlling people.
mm-hmm.
That's if I had to put it in one phrase, controlling people, and that's what I think it
I,
is.
I understand your perspective. I don't think all people who are into magic or even witchcraft are trying to control other people. Like I know a woman who said she would never use a spell to try to subvert someone's free will. But not everybody has those types of perspectives. There are a lot of people who
What was
are
she
doing.
using spell for?
Well, I mean, the way she saw it was an affirmation that she said about something she wanted to come to pass, not necessarily affecting someone else, but just things she wanted to happen in her life, goals she wanted to reach, that kind of thing. So, but I
Yeah,
understand the
I mean,
concern.
look,
I
you ever
understand the concern.
seen there was what was the name of that movie? You ever seen The Craft?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Remember the movie The Craft, man? It's like from the 90s. You younger than
Mm.
me.
Yeah.
Um, in like 1995,
The
there was a
craft.
movie called The Craft, right?
Yeah.
And it was about these girls that wanted to be witches. And then it was this one girl whose mom was a real witch, and she didn't know her mom was a real witch, and her mama died. And she got with the girls, the young girls in high school that was trying to be witches, and they were doing spells, and they
Mm.
did something, worship some sort of god, some witch god, and they
Mm.
all got real powers, and they started doing all types of crazy stuff with their powers and messed around, and they turned on the girl that was really a real, her mom was
Mm.
a witch. Her mom was real
Mm.
powerful. So when they turned on her, the girl was scared and stuff. But
Mm.
the point I'm trying to make is, if you watch that film, it's like they was asking, okay, I want wealth, right?
Mm.
That this girl said, I prayed for wealth. So when she got wealth, she prayed to that little god they worshipped or whatever.
Mm.
The way she got the wealth was her stepfather died,
Mm.
and she got her insurance money.
Yeah, I mean, there are real consequences to those
So
types
that
of
no, what
things.
I'm saying is
But
there's a balance when you start manipulating
yeah,
that. It's like the butterfly effect. Like,
yeah.
it's like if you go walk outside, I want some wealth. You
Mm.
walk outside and find $1,000 sitting on the ground. Well,
Mm.
guess what? Somebody dropped their rent money.
Mm.
So somebody about to get evicted on the streets, but you think it's a blessing. It's
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
it's 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 a lot more complex. I don't want to get into the,
yeah,
because you can never really know
yeah. That, but
what somebody will say. Well, I just wanted to get this job, or I just want, yeah,
yeah,
but this other guy deserved the job over you. They were a better, more qualified person, but you
yeah.
manipulated to get the job. Yes, it wasn't a person, but what you took from somebody else cost that person.
Mm.
So it could be, I mean, when we start talking about
Yeah,
everybody, and I'm not even, like I said, I know we're different, but if you look at the
yeah.
part where it says everybody's connected, that end, that's that thread that I'm talking
Mm.
about that holds us all together.
Hmm.
If you believe that, and
Yeah.
that right there tells us that I don't even believe in it. I have,
Mm.
and that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
look here,
Well,
man.
well,
Go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead, go
yeah.
ahead.
Focusing on the part that I think we do agree on is that we don't know what kinds of things women are into. She could be a witch, she could be into black magic, she could be, again, we don't know. But a lot of times we as black men, especially, like to rush into things, and we don't know what's really going on. And I think we agree on that part. I think there are a lot of women that are darker and more concerning than we realize. But, we just aren't, we have to make the habit of being more discerning first and then using our discernment to select better. But you were saying, sorry.
No, that's good. I gotta head out, bro. It's 11 o'clock. I know we gotta
Yeah.
go to work tomorrow. I gotta get up early in the morning and start coding. So
All right. Well, thanks so
um
much for joining us, Sub. We got to
yeah.
have more of this conversation. I feel like there's just so much more we can touch on with this topic in general. We got off into some other things, but I appreciate you for showing up, Sub.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Definitely. We'll have to do it on your channel next time. Let's
Okay,
make it
bet.
happen. All right. We'll see you
All
later,
right.
Sub.
Okay, bro. Take care.
All right. All right, everyone. Well, that's our show. It is late. I do have a day job outside of this. Thanks again to Subzero for joining us here on Black Male Spirituality. And the main thing, guys, is and I'm going to keep hammering this on my channel, is we have to be more selective, even when it comes to sex. We talked about the practical side of things with the legal issues. We talked about physical issues, safety. Drama. We talked about spirituality. We talked about witches. We don't know how many of the women we are trying to go after that are people of evil intent who can really do tangible harm to us, physically, practically, or spiritually. At any rate, that's it for this message. And as I say at the end of all of my videos, guys, low vibrations are at an all-time high in this world. Stay high vibrational. Namaste and good night.